Lenovo has introduced their next-gen Legion Go devices here at CES 2025, and we've got two different versions. To tell you the truth, I was not a huge fan of the Legion Go when it first came out, so let's go over these ones and see if it's something I might want to rock. So now Lenovo has two lines of handhelds. The first is the Legion Go S, and then second is the Legion Go version 2. We're going to go over the S first, so why don't you come in here. I've got two devices in front of me. This one is in white, and this one is in Nebula Violet. Almost everything about these handhelds are the same, so let's go over them. They're both 8-inch displays. They are both 1920 by 1200, so 16 by 10 aspect ratio, both at 120 hertz VRR display. So internally there's going to be two different configurations. One of them is a Z2 Go with the 16 gigabytes of 6400 megatransfers per second with a 512 terabyte SSD. The other one is going to be a Z1 Extreme with 32 gigabytes of 6400 megatransfers per second, a 1 terabyte SSD. Both of those SSD sizes are going to be the smaller 2242 size, but they can both be swapped out. Okay, well, what are the differences between these devices? Well, the white one is going to come with Windows 11, and this Nebula Violet one is going to be powered by SteamOS. Yes, SteamOS is here. Lenovo is the first one to offer a powered by SteamOS version of their handhelds, and you are going to be able to either go online or in a store and pick either the Windows 11 version or the SteamOS version. But because of those operating system changes, that actually means that there are pricing differences between the two. So let's go over that. If you want to get the white Windows 11 version, the 512 gig version with the Z2 Go and the 16 gigabytes of RAM is going to be $600. If you want to step up to the Z1 Extreme with a 1 terabyte and 32 gigs, that one will clock in around $700. But if you decide to go with the SteamOS version, that one at the lower configuration with 512 gig and 16 gigs of RAM is going to start at $500, so $100 cheaper. And the same thing applies for the Z1 Extreme version. It is going for 32 gigs and 1 terabyte, it's going to clock in at $600. So for both configurations, the powered by SteamOS version is $100 less. And that begs the question, okay, well, I mean, everyone wants a nice, powerful, cheaper handheld. Why would you pay $100 for the Windows version? Especially a lot of people consider that a worse experience. Well, you know, Lenovo and Valve have kind of their thoughts on what offer that, and I have my own. I will go over what Valve says about it, and they're saying that, hey, you know what? It really depends on the game. There's some games that are going to play better on Windows, and some games that are going to be better on SteamOS. I mean, honestly, there are some games that just don't play on SteamOS. So, you know, if you have a game that you want to play on the go, then you got to pick between one or the other. The other one is that the SteamOS version is more of an out-of-the-box console. I hate that term, console-like experience. It's easy to set up. You know what you're going to get. You got Steam. Yes, you can load up third parties and, you know, do other workarounds like that. But this is for more, you know, people who just want to get in and game. Where if you got the Windows version, you know, you could do other things with it. It's literally just a computer, so you can use it as a workstation. You can plug in an eGPU and, you know, like do video editing on it. It's literally just Windows, so you have more possibilities. Well, and also, you know, other game launchers, anything you want to do with it. So, is that worth $100? I don't know. I'm actually genuinely curious to see which ones are going to sell better. My gut tells me that people would probably rather save the $100 and go with the SteamOS version, but at least Lenovo is giving the option, because that's my feelings. Is that's one of the things I love about the PC is you got options, baby. So like instead of just coming out and saying, hey, you know what, we're only doing SteamOS, I actually think this is the right thing that they're coming out and saying, hey, you know what, Both of these you can have different configurations. If you want SteamOS, go for it. If you want Windows 11, go for it. It's choices, baby, and I love that. And the last major difference between the two to talk about is availability then, because the Windows 11 version of the Go S is merely weeks away. They're telling me it's going to be on store shelves by the end of January, maybe early February if you want to be a little conservative, where the SteamOS version actually needs a little bit more time to bake. They're saying that Q2 is the target, but if you want to be more conservative, they're saying maybe second half. So we might have to wait till summer for it, so I'm not quite sure. But I really am curious to see if people are going to wait for this one because they want Steam powered by SteamOS so bad. Before we move on, let's do a hardware tour of the Go S, because it is a definitely radical different design compared to the original Legion Go. It is smaller, obviously smaller screen, but it is way more rounded around the edges. It's got a different kind of design ID. I will say there is a little bit, starting about right here, there is a little bit of more grippiness to it. It's not as bumpy as something like the Nitro Blaze that I felt earlier, but it does wrap around the whole edge. And I tell you, that is a very strong swoop. That was one of the things I did not like about the original Legion Go, was the ergonomics of it. This feels really good in the hand. Not only is it a nice swoop down this way, it's got a real nice grip that you can get your hands around. Around the front of the device, it's pretty standard. Your A, B, X, Y buttons feel pretty good. Snappy is what I would call them, not clicky. Snappy, but you get a lot of spring back. I like that. The Hall effect sticks, and you know what? Even though this is a smaller device, they are keeping around a little trackpad. This is not a fingerprint reader. This is a little trackpad. On this side, we have a D-pad that's a little squishy, but definitely not sharp. The edges are very rounded off, and of course you got the extra functionality buttons and the front-facing speakers, which I like. If we look on the bottom quickly, nothing but a micro SD card reader. That means that around the top we have both of the USB 4 ports right here in the middle. We have the courageous headphone jack. We have the 2 volume buttons and a power button with a little LED. Over here you can see that there is a single vent. We will see how that looks on the back, and then the shoulder buttons and the triggers. I will say that it is kind of hard to depress the trigger or the bumper higher up, but along the whole rest of it, it is pretty clicky. You get a really good audible feedback, except for the top. It's not as easy to press. And the triggers don't offer a ton of resistance. It feels a little flimsy is probably not the right word, but it's just kind of easy to depress. There's not much resistance here, but it does bottom out very cleanly. Around the back we have the Lenovo Legion branding here. We have 2 grills here, but only one of them has that fan, and it's this one right here because the vent and exhaust is here. We do have a couple back buttons, and then for something I'd love to see more on handhelds is this little trigger stop switch. So with that, it becomes a shorter throw. With that, you get the full throw. I will say, interesting enough, when you shorten it, it turns into a clicky stop. I don't know if you can kind of hear that, but it does get a little clickier where the full throw is not a click. You're actually bottoming out that plastic. Either way, it is very comfortable in the hand. I did get a chance to play on it a little bit. I felt the ergonomics were good, not too heavy. It does feel a little bulky compared to some of the other ones out there with that screen size, but not too bad. Let's do a quick size comparison to some of the other ones. We have the Asus ROG Ally, which does have a smaller screen, so it is shorter that way. But then the actual thickness itself, the Legion is thicker. I do have a custom backplate on here, so it's a little different. But really, let's compare it to the Steam Deck. I have a Steam Deck OLED here, the limited edition version, which it's about the same height. The thickness is definitely a big difference between the two here, and for the width, it's actually pretty similar. So like I would say overall size-wise, if you understand how the Steam Deck feels in the hand, this one actually feels pretty damn close. All right, so that is the Go S, but if you're looking for something a little more premium, Let's talk about the Go version 2. So I will point out that Lenovo tells me this is just a prototype. They've run into some slight hiccups. They were hoping to have it available here along with the Go S, but it is not quite ready, which means they're not letting me power on the device. So the screen is going to be off. But, you know, we can talk about what is inside the device. They tell me that this will have an beautiful 8.8-inch OLED screen. They're saying a lot of people are demanding OLED, and this will just imagine right here a big, beautiful, bright OLED screen rather than darkness. They're saying that they've actually bumped down the resolution to 1920 by 1200, which is a big thumbs up. I actually really appreciate ones that don't have too high of pixel density, because it's kind of lost on a handheld, to tell you the truth. So I totally support that, but it does have 144 hertz refresh rate, which is awesome. It does weigh a little bit more, so it's jumping from 854 grams to 950 grams. To tell you the truth, I've held it for a little bit. I haven't gamed on it because I can't play it, but it does feel... It doesn't feel that different, actually. It feels pretty good in the hand. This does have two different configuration options, a Z2 Vanilla and a Z2 Extreme. The Z2 version is going to have 16 gigs of DDR5 7500 megatransfers per second, a 512 terabyte SSD, while the Z2 Extreme version comes with 32 gigabytes of DDR5X 7500 megatransfers per second and 1 terabyte SSD. I did confirm that both of them actually do come stock with a 2242 size SSD, but they will allow up to a 2280 to be installed in there if you want that, which I give that a thumbs up. So the battery capacity has jumped up from around 50 watt hours to 74 watt hours, which is nice. It's not the biggest on the market, but it is very nice. And that's that is the same across all configurations. Really, the redesign comes with the actual physical nature of it, because like I said, I was not a big fan of the original Legion Go, mostly because of ergonomics, and I did not really like the detachable controllers. It didn't really offer anything to me. These still do have detachable controllers, but the ergonomics are way different. I have held this for a little bit and it feels night and day difference. There's no sharp corners. It's got a nice premium feel to the plastic here. The grip actually doesn't start till about halfway through, so the grip is mostly on the back side. You're not really getting any grip here on the front side, but it does feel pretty good in the hand. For the button layouts, it is actually pretty much the same thing. You've got your face buttons that feel crispy. The trackpad is still here. You got the Hall effect sticks. Over on this side, you've got the extra buttons to launch different things. The D-pad is a little squishy, a little kind of flat, especially compared to the Legion Go. It does not have as much depth to it, which I thought was a little interesting, but it doesn't feel bad to me. So if we look at the ports, on the bottom we have the micro SD card reader, a USB-C port, and then also a courageous headphone jack. So along the top here we have a large vent for a singular fan. You have a power button that does light up. You have top firing speakers, which I don't love, but I mean the quality is not too bad, at least on the original. You've got your other USB-C port and then the volume buttons. So on the back we do have the Legion Go branding, but it is very tasteful. I appreciate it. You have one large intake for that fan. You still have a really nice kickstand. This thing feels sturdy, and the original one was a sturdy kickstand, so I do appreciate that. And then if we look at the controllers, we can see that it still unlocks via the same mechanism. You push it in and then you slide down. You have the same pogo pin layout. It does sit there in the plastic, but it does at least here with this prototype unit feel a little more rigid. That is one of the problems. Oh my man, I'm having a problem connect. There we go. The original version, I did have a problem with it feeling like it was wobbling. This one feels a lot tighter. You've got the two back buttons on the left side, but on the right side, we have one back button here, one back button here, and then 2 buttons over here. What the hell? Oh, well, you know, guess what? This still features that same FPS mode where you flip a switch here, and then the pointer turns on. You put it in this little disc here, and it becomes a mouse. Now, to tell you the truth, I never use this feature, so whatever, it's lost on me. But they did change the dock, so instead of a magnet holding it in, it actually does have a little bit of a switch that you have to press because it locks in place. So that is a nicer touch if you're into that. The other last ergonomic thing I'll say was that the actual triggers here themselves have a swoop to them. I don't know if you can quite see, but instead of like coming across flat, it just has a very, very good swoop. And I will tell you, that is some of the best trigger feel that I've had on a handheld. I actually do really like that swoop. So that's pretty much it for the Go 2 prototype. Once again, this is just a prototype. I don't have the final pricing, don't have the final date. They're telling me probably second half if you want to, you know, be conservative about it. Also, I asked about operating system. Will this be like the Go S and be in 2 different configurations, Windows 11 or powered by SteamOS? And they're telling me no plans at this point, which I thought was kind of interesting. So it sounds like this might just launch with Windows 11. They're saying maybe because this is more of a premium device that you're going to want all the functionality of Windows 11 built into it. I don't know. I'll see. Once again, I like choice, so hopefully they do have different options for this, but you know, I guess we will see at a later date. Either way, if you are interested in more handheld coverage, be sure to subscribe here on PCWorld, and if you want to go watch our video about the Acer Nitro Blaze lineup, go click at this video over here. You know what the people are here for, the sniff test. All right, this is the Windows 11 version. Oh, it's slightly fruity, maybe banana, like a kind of tropical. Ooh, Windows 11, so tropical. What about powered by SteamOS? Does that smell different? Oh, yeah, this is like the deep jungle, you know, like I'm chopping through the trees. Very jungle-y. So crazy, they smell different. That is so weird. Okay, well, what about a prototype? Well, it's not powered on, so I can't get the full aroma from it. It's a really good pull. It tastes like a factory taste. I don't know why I said taste, but it smells like a factory. I'm gonna have to wait till I can power this on. I can't give a definitive